Chapter 20. Gender Inequality Social Perspective. Reading Objectives. Gender Inequality. Starting of Gender Inequality. Position of women. Understanding inequality. Winds of a change. Gender is a term that you may often have heard. Our understanding of gender is often based on the family and society that we live in. By gender, we mean that it is a term that helps us to understand many of the inequalities and power relation between male and female. This differentiation between male and female based on their sex is called as gender. Gender is often mistakenly thought to be something that concerns women or girl alone. Enrich yourself. The Dowry Prohibition Act, 1961, Act Number 28 of 1961, an act to prohibit the giving or taking of dowry. This act may be called the Dowry Prohibition Act, 1961. It extends to the whole of India except the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It shall come into force on such date as the central government may, by notification in the official gazette, appoint. Definition of dowry. In this act, dowry means any property or valuable security given or agreed to be given either directly or indirectly, by one party to a marriage to the other party. Penalty for giving or taking dowry. If any person, after the commencement of this act, gives or takes or abets the giving or taking of dowry, he shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which shall not be less than 5 years, and with the fine which shall not be less than 15,000 rupees, or the amount of the value of such dowry whichever is more. Gender inequality. The inequality between male and female in terms of status, wealth, income and treatment is called gender inequality. Gender inequalities occur in social institutions, such as family, educational system and workplaces. In our society, old customs and traditions have shaped women's lives. Women had a superior status during early Vedic ages. She was allowed to undertake education and had rights equal to those of men. But as time passed by, her position in the society degraded. She was subjected to discrimination and inequality. They were not given privilege to go to school for education. Only men had the right to get education to prepare themselves for leadership, whereas women had no right to property and no freedom to make decisions related to her own life. Their duty was to give birth to children and to care for the home. There was a time when a woman had to burn herself on the funeral pyre of her dead husband. This practice was called sati. Lord Hastings during his reign of viceroyship banned this custom. Till recently, a widow or a divorcee was not allowed to remarry. The widows have to spend their whole life in a miserable condition. They were denied the comforts of life. They were made to sleep on the ground without proper bedding. They were made to eat food without spices and oil. Their head was tonsured and they were not allowed to wear colored dresses. Starting of gender inequality. The process of gender inequality begins at the moment when a child is born and we exclaim, "Is it a boy or a girl?" Gender inequality can be seen everywhere in the world. Not only in poor and underdeveloped or developing countries, it can be still seen in the most developed nations, like Japan and the United States of America. It has different form depending on the type of society. The various types of gender inequality are due to the family. It is the family where a child learns the basic values and how to behave and interact with the society. This is true that the biological makeup of women requires them to be more careful about their health. But much care is not taken of the health of the girl child, because girls are regarded as a burden and ill-treated in the family. They are discriminated even in providing nutrition. Adequate nutrition is denied to a girl child. Boys are given nutritive foods and girls are subjected to malnutrition, so that they do not grow up strong. As a result, the mortality rate is higher in women than in men. This is the case in Asia and North Africa. In many families, the ownership and the inheritance of property can also be very unequal. Hindu women till recently could not inherit their parental or husband's property. These unequal rights make the women feel insecure and inferior as compared to men who are said to be the legal successors to the ancestral property. The community. Our society has always been patriarchal, which means male-dominated. Men tend to think that a woman's best place is at home. There also appears to be an underlying fear in men that a woman may more excellent at jobs which are regarded to be men's domain. The strong belief that man is superior to women forced men to undermine women's status. However, when given a chance, women have proved her worth in every areas of life, showing that home is not the only place for women. There is no question that women's presence at home is very important. A home cannot run without a woman. But that does not mean that women are to be confined to the four walls of a home. In the case of child marriage, it is the female child who suffers more. She has to bear the pain of childbirth at a very young age. In case of her husband's death, she has to spend long life without a partner, whereas in case of wife's death, the boy can remarry soon. The dowry system created by man is curse for women. The parents consider her a burden because they have to arrange dowries for their daughters. The dowry system has made many a woman to commit suicide. Many brides are burnt by their greedy in-laws for dowry. Since it is a male-dominated society, even women prefer male children. Most of the parents want their newborn to be a boy rather than a girl. In some societies, parents even used to bury their daughters as soon as they were born. Nowadays, modern technology like ultrasound scan, ultrasonography etc. have served a tool or weapon in the hands of cruel parents who do not want a girl child. These technologies can reveal the sex of the fetus, and if the fetus is of a girl, she is killed even before she is born. Female feticide has become a common feature of modern society. In India and elsewhere in the world, the practice is legally banned. The school education, which is a basic right of every human being, is not fully provided to women. The female child is not given opportunity to pursue higher education. In Asia, Africa and Latin America, the female children have far less opportunity of schooling than boys. Boys are sent to private English medium schools, whereas girls are admitted in government schools. Even in societies where there is not much difference in the schooling of boys and girls, the opportunities of higher education may be very fewer for the girl children. Gender inequality in professional education is seen even in the most forward countries of Europe and North America. The discrimination is being justified by arguing that higher learning is the domain of men only. Position of women. The country witnesses the rapid increase in number of incidents of violence against women in public places. A woman is considered as an object of eve-teasing, molestation and rape in public and sexual harassment at the workplace. Surprisingly, in an environment that should be equal and free, the reaction of people towards such incidents is very indifferent. Understanding inequality. It is taken for granted that a woman's place is home. Her main duties are child rearing and taking care of household tasks. Since performing household tasks does not produce material or money value, her work is considered unproductive and without value. In the social hierarchy, she is placed below men. Her roles and duties confined within her home has led to unequal treatment. Therefore, there should be gender equality. If gender equality is not attained, it would slow down economic and social progress. Human resources would not be utilized in the right way and progress would discontinue. There is no scientific reason to support a woman's inferior status. Given the context, women have made bold attempts to break stereotyping. They have shown that they have similar capabilities and they can do any jobs as well as men can. Thus, the greatest obstacle in their way to equality is home. There is need to facilitate support systems in terms of women-friendly laws and policies to encourage women to work. Winds of a change. In the 19th century, many social reformers, like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Dayanand Saraswati, Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar, Jyotiba Phule and Sir Syed Ahmad Khan tried to improve the position of women. Because of their efforts, many girls' schools were also established, social customs like sati were legally banned, and widows were allowed to remarry. The Indian Constitution says that all citizens of India, men or women, have equal rights. The amendment in Hindu Law of Inheritance and passing of the Hindu Code Bill paved the way for enactment of Kamla Act. Under this act, not only sons but also daughters are entitled to an equal share of their parental property. The Hindu Marriage Act was amended in 1956 and remarriage of widows was given legal safeguard. Now the Hindu widows and divorcees have the legal right to marry again. Under the Child Marriage Restraint Act, it is illegal for a girl child under the age of 18 to be married. The Maternity Benefit Act was enacted for the health care of mother and child. The enactment of Anti-Dowry Act empowered the women against the greedy who forces the innocent brides to commit suicide. Now the demand of dowry is made a punishable crime and there is every safeguard in the law for the women who are tortured by their in-laws for want of dowry. The government of MCT of Delhi launched the Ladli scheme in 2007. Under this scheme, the government deposited 10,000 rupees in the name of a girl child on her birth, and afterwards deposit an amount of 5,000 rupees at the time of her admission from class 1 to 12. The collected amount of around 1 lakh rupees would be given to a girl child on attaining the age of 18 years or at least passing out the 10th standard. The amount could be used for her higher studies or vocational training or for setting up small businesses. Fact. Right. Y for yes and N for number 1. Patriarchal means female-dominated society. 2. Most of the parents want their newborn to be a boy than a girl. 3. Lord William Bentinck during his reign of viceroyship banned sati custom. 4. Female feticide, meaning killing the female child in the mother's womb. Searching dictionary. Gender. The psychological, social and cultural difference between men and women. Mortality rate. The ratio of deaths in an area to the population of that area. Word to know. Sex is a biological or physical difference, while gender is the psychological, social and cultural difference between men and women. Inequality between men and women in terms of status, wealth, income and treatment is called gender inequality. It can still be seen even in the most developed nations, like Japan and USA. Hindu women till recently could not inherit her parental or husband's property. A woman is an object of eve-teasing, molestation and rape in public places and sexual harassment at the workplace. In the 19th century, many social reformers, like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, Swami Dayanand Saraswati and Ishwar Chand Vidyasagar tried to improve the position of women. Under the Kamla Act, not only sons but daughters are entitled to an equal share of their parental property. The government of MCT of Delhi launched the Ladli scheme in 2007.